going on, YouTube world? Just another video here. This time I'm showing you another thing on a 1993 Toyota Camry. Something really simple, just going to be changing the oil on this thing. Really simple, but so important to change the oil, obviously. This is actually pretty easy on a 93 Camry. As you can see, the oil filter is right here, so that's what we're going to be removing as well. And we're going to get underneath and drain the oil from the oil pan. And you don't really need a whole lot of tools to do this. One thing I do recommend is getting some ramps. Roll your vehicle up on it, just makes it easier to get underneath, obviously. And then you're going to need, I believe it's a 14 millimeter wrench. You might need an oil filter wrench to help remove that. And then obviously on this car you're going to need 10W30 oil, which is going to be the type of oil that you're going to use, and it's about 4.3 liters for this car. And then you're also going to need a new oil filter, which I will show you, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's the filter that you're going to need. I just went to AutoZone and got an STP, S4967 is the number, new oil filter. And then here's the oil. Again, I got an STP, high mileage. This thing's a 93 Camry. It's got about 215,000 miles, so it's definitely high mileage. I don't know if it really matters, but I decided to go with it, and 10W30. So next we're just going to get underneath the car and loosen the oil plug on the oil pan. Okay, so let's get on underneath this car here. I'll show you where the oil pan is. So just want to get under here, and yeah, this guy's leaking oil pretty bad. I mean, it's an old car. You can see there's some oil there. But right here, here's the oil pan. Here's what we got to loosen. And I do have a bucket. Obviously you want to have that kind of positioned to catch this oil. It's gonna be dripping. And you know, one thing you might want to put a rag underneath there to catch any you know, loose oil, but I think I'll be okay. But anyway, yeah, this is where you need that 14. So let's go ahead and do that. So hopefully I got enough leverage here. Okay, there we go. Just loosen it on up. I think it's gonna jump out. There we go. Spilt a little bit. All right, now it's draining. So, hey, you just want to let that drain, you know, for a few minutes. And next we're gonna go up and loosen the oil filter itself. And yeah, I'll meet you there. Yeah, you can see it's draining. One thing I did forget to mention, it's probably not a bad idea to open this up. This is where you're going to be pouring your new oil in anyway. But open that up, get some airflow. Just helps with, you know, draining the oil a little bit faster. Okay, so next we're going to get this oil filter off, which is really cool on a 93 Camry. It's one of the only cars I know where the filter is actually just under the hood. Again, right here, this blue thing. So really easy to get to, and yeah, just kind of cool. So one thing I do recommend too is try to put a rag down here, because there is going to be some oil that's going to drip out when you remove the filter. And that just kind of keeps your car obviously nice and clean underneath. But you know, if you keep it free of oil, you can spot when there's actually an oil leak. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove this. I think if I can do it by hand, I can't remember. It's been a minute. Yeah, no. So instead of trying to bust myself trying to do that, we're gonna grab the oil filter wrench here. This bad boy. So I need to adjust it here. One of the toughest things when working on cars is getting leverage. Trying to get some leverage here. Once you get leverage, it gets a little easier. So, try another way. Is that gonna work? Probably not. Let's see. All right, so we're just gonna do it with my hand. All right, so I was able to get this loose with my hand, and there's some oil dripping already. So toss that to the side. Can't have enough rags when you're doing this stuff. Okay, as you can see, I definitely dripped over there. So good thing I had that rag. All right, guys, so got the oil filter off. Oil is pretty much drained. It's just to a drip right now, but I'm gonna get the oil pan plug ready to go. So, I mean, you just wanna clean it off a little bit. But I always like to wrap this around it. God, I can't remember what this is called, honestly. I know it's terrible. But it's this this stuff right here. And you just wrap it around the threads like that right here. And yeah, I mean, you don't have to do it, but you know, when I was changing the oil on cars with my dad when I was a kid, he always did that as just an extra step to kind of give it a tighter seal. But it's not necessary, but you know, I still do it. So anyway, that's what I'm gonna be doing next. All right, so you know, I got the oil plug back in there so you can see. Yep, got it right back in there. And you know, you want to make sure it's tight. So take your 14, don't over tighten it, just want to hand tighten it, you know, and this is pretty good. Let me just hold it with this other hand. There you go. Where we at? Right there. Okay. So that's not moving. You know, and while you're down here, you really want to take the time to clean up, you know, any grease or oil that you see. You know, this car could definitely use a degrease. Yeah, I mean, this is an older car, so it is leaking oil. It's kind of hard to figure out where it's coming from. But you want to degrease it. Again, like I was saying earlier, that'll help you figure out if it's clean of oil, where any leaks are coming from. You also want to just inspect other things. Like I don't know if you can see, but yeah, right up here, right up there, if you see, it looks like something's fraying. Yeah, it looks like that's coming into either the water pump or alternator. Can't really tell too much, but yeah, this belt over here is definitely fraying a little bit. So that's not good. And This belt right here, alternator belt, is definitely cracking kind of right in the middle here. So definitely time to take this in, probably just have them change all the belts and the water pump. I'm not going to mess with that. Yeah, I did put the oil in here, about 4.3 quarts. You know, just use a funnel, put it back in there, tighten up the cap, and now we got the oil filter. And so, again, cool thing about these 93 Camrys is you can just, it's right under the hood. So you just kind of, you don't want to strip it, make sure the thread's right, hand tighten it. And again, just hand tighten it. You don't want to make it too tight. And there we go. Okay. You know, and also, you know, got the hood under, like I said, go ahead, check the coolant level so it's full. Check your power steering. It's right at the max for cool. So on this side, it's kind of hard for you guys to see, but max and min for hot. And then over here, there's a max and min for cool, and it's right towards the max or so. It's not quite accurate. I'm gonna have to relook at it when I get it off the ramps, but make sure you check that. Check anything else. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just start up the car, let the oil kind of cycle through the engine, get into the filter, and then I'm gonna go to the dipstick here and check the oil level. So be right back at you. Okay, now I got the car running. We're gonna check the leaks here. Don't see any. So that's good. Okay. Check the leaks here. Don't see any. No leaks there. Okay. Now I'm just gonna grab the dipstick and check the oil level. All right, so now, yeah, we're gonna check the oil level. So here's the dipstick. You just simply pull it out. You look at it. You want it to be between, there's like an E and F. You know, it's actually a little above the F. You don't want to actually overfill it. I overfilled it just a tad, but I'm not too worried about it on this car, because like I said, it does leak a little bit. So it should be good. So generally you want to wipe this off right here. Put the front down real quick. Just wipe it clean. Stick it back. And again, check these fluids. I got it off the ramps. Good on the coolant, good on the power steering fluid, and good on brake, power brake fluid there. But like I said, I did notice that this is needs some new belts, so that's another benefit of changing the oil. So hopefully this was somewhat informative. I know it's kind of a little all around, all over the place, but you know, if you like it, give me that like button or subscribe, or simply comment if you have questions. God bless.